So why don't you tell us who of these players is going to make it in your book?
So I think and hope Tiaan will make it. Salvyyy would also be a fantastic one to have make it right against Salvyyy. Last Golden Special Cup winner making another day free would be insane, quite frankly. Safa for all the Spanish people out there as well would be a nice little bit of representations out there. We haven't seen it on screen all weekend, but did have a quite strong performance coming through last time around here. First carousel of the game now has concluded.
One of the players which I particularly wanted to highlight as well, because we've seen them before on stream, Skipaeus from the Czech Republic, did an incredible job of holding on after a disaster of a start before. I want to see what they can do when they have a good start.
It's really interesting. Skipaeus had 2 rather good games, going first and then third. And from then on, it's just been a very rocky ride. I want to say, like, some strange augment picks going into essence theft and then not finding evokers, going into shimmer scale augments and then not even having 3 shimmer scale on the board. Like, something is up here, and I'm curious to see where he takes it this round.
All right, so Mirage will be the spell source enchantment. Now, you're a big fan of this one.
I mean, well, Skippy already has a Leona pair. We are most likely going to be seeing quite a few people trying to play Dacia if their spot is even remotely akin to playable in that situation. So keep an eye out for that. Spell Sword is one of the better ones to play for. Still not really a clear direction who's going to be the early carry, though, when you're looking at the spot from Skippy here. Has a Braum pair, Leona pair. Like, these pairs are obviously very powerful for the frontline aspect, but there's no Yone, for example, to treat that as an item holder for the Dacia, which actually is fairly viable. So let's see how he ends up manipulating this situation.
Yeah, I'm also curious. So right now we will still be picking up some items now with 3 components. That should be the end of it before we go into what will be the first augment of the day, and it will be gold augments coming through here. Portable Forge looking mighty attractive.
Yeah, that's nearly always going to be the choice. I want to see someone go for Intercosmic Gifts, though, because that is hugely buffed coming into this patch. And if there's ever a time...
Game stakes is not going to happen here, right? Anima Vicious being the pick here, you can make an argument for also going for Infinity Force, right? But I think Anima Vicious is the more universal option of the 1% there. Sonia's Paradox is not a prior option, even though sometimes you can see Falling coming through here. Salvyyy having to re-roll his opening. Oh, this is a horrible spot for him, actually. No, right?
Oh boy, yes, you normally want the pairs. You're not going to get them.
He can't go for he has Clouded Mind. He can't combine. He can't even combine after, right? He has to put the.
Yeah, he's waiting for the round to start so he can buy the other ones.
No, he didn't put the Sejuani in play.
Oh no. All right, well, I suppose that's one round slightly sub-optimized, but we have seen the mind augments coming through across the course of the tournament. So presumably for Salvyyy, they are going to be looking to try and push up those levels very quickly with the bonus XP.
It's also worth noting here, right, this is not necessarily incorrect to do it this way around, right? Because, okay, he's going to combine regardless. I was about to say that he maybe doesn't want to combine in the next round just to have the 2 opens, like just to have 2 more units there, because again, you can end up situations where it's not going to line up correctly for you. But I mean, it could have been worse. Well, you want more?
I'm sorry, Cluttered Mind, it just messes with my mind. Especially in the early stages. Of course, it's really good when you get it that early on, but it's just so much thinking required. It's not for me. But Ixula is on Built Different. That is one hell of a statement going into the last game of today. I do want to say we saw a couple of Built Different games yesterday, and all of them managed to do very well throughout the tournament. So maybe this is a sign.
There's a lot of statement augments here, right? You're also looking at preparation from Tiaan, right? Which means, knowing Tiaan, it's probably going to be a Varus game of all things out there. One of the first players to really take this Varus reroll situation in earlier on in the set. And Xcrescent with dual Lotus first up means that he's also probably going to be leaning for that Dacia. So there are a lot of things to look out for here. Like, so many different angles and so much direction already from this early point in the game.
I do want to come back to this Built Different though before we move on from the point. I know, Makes, you were looking through some of the Built Different comps specifically. Have you got it in front of mind where we'll eventually end up for Ixula? In terms of what kind of end game boards we'll be looking at.
So, like, with Build Different, of course, you have a couple options. I did see a Build Different comp that had a Shyvana, which, of course, is going to give you one trait, but there were also some comps that didn't do any dragons at all. Like, it's very open. I'm curious where we're heading. I haven't seen a bunch of Build Diff played out, just due to the nature of the set and how the dragons work. So, I don't know. I really don't. I'm curious to see how this unfolds.
Well, Clear and Clouded Minds also here. Klicornen going with the opposite way of what Salvyyy is doing with the Clear Mind. Already has the Karma 2, which is a massive one, has the Leona 2 as well. Has a very strong board to build from. This could potentially be a full streaking Clear Mind situation going on. Yeah. The option is still there, right? That's the big one you need to look out for right now. Salvyyy, expectedly so, is going to be in a blue streak situation, because that's going to happen because you can't really combine units onto the board, but you need to hold everything on the bench. Whereas when you play Clear Mind, you can combine your units. You don't have to care about what's on your bench. You can even roll down to kind of stabilize. You can't really do that with the way Clouded Mind works out, but I think Clouded Mind overall probably is the better augment of the two, because it just gives you so many more options to play from.
All right, once we check in our components, you can see that Salvyyy, the only person who hasn't really gotten all of their items down. Of course, we're going to have the extra components coming in from the carousel, but it does look like the lobby overall are not gun shy about slamming in those early completed.
Yeah, I'm a little bit curious where Klicornen is on, because we just saw his board, but so far he's still on the max HP on the 100. So I want to see where he's currently at with his board and where he could take it possibly. So maybe we can hop on over there. But there is a Volibear in the motion for Salvyyy.
I mean, it's a Draven's Axe in free Shimmer.
Oh boy.
That is lovely. We have a first Draven's Axe of the day on Scream, on Scream at least, right? Like
I think that's appropriate.
Yeah, right. Like
Broadcast lobby.
Yeah, that's the better way of going about it. That's much harder to mess up, Broadcast lobby, stream, screen, yeah, but getting that Draven's Axe stacking nice and early here is going to be lovely for Salvyyy.
Yeah, and we're in a situation here that if Salvyyy manages to find a needlessly large rod and keep that Volibear up as Volibears are wont to do, that Draven's Axe is going to end up stacking enormously.
Yeah, we are on over Klicornen's board, who is currently on a Jade Guardian situation. And I really want to see the board after we come out of this PvP round to see how strong it really is. Let's have a look. Does have a Nico on 2/6. Like, okay, I see where this is coming from. Together with the Elise, of course, getting that Shapeshifters. I would assume there was a Gnar in there, but I can do with the Elise as well.
So this is a kind of, a more sort of strategic question about Klicornen here, probably to both of you guys. Of course, with the Clear Mind, we've got the extra, XP coming in. We're funding these early units a little bit faster than we would normally. For Klicornen, are they going to be, will we be expecting them to try and pump a lot of money into, doubling down on XP, or can they just sit back and let the natural XP carry them?
What will really happen about this, we're going to be seeing on free 2, I believe, right? Because you're going to be almost, but just natural speaking here, it's going to be 6 on free 1 pretty much at the end of the day here. And that's going to be the big one here. Like, he doesn't necessarily need to pump more XP into gold into XP, because if he does that, he has less gold to roll with. So like the offset you get is just more gold to roll with. So sometimes you'll be in spots where you need to roll more, and hence won't be pushing as heavily into the XP. Sometimes you have a relatively stable board, you're not really feeling that horrible about your life total, etc. Then you can just go and push extra levels, try to hit that level 8, that level 7 sooner than you would before. Well, Skipaeus, that's a stage 2 Siphon with an anime visage.
Yeah, this is Skipaeus, who is joining everybody else now in the no one going into stage 3 with a win streak. I think we got a little glimpse of what we could see from the Siphon as a, kind of an Omega tank. Now I suppose the only question is who's going to join them as the carry of the composition.
Yeah, I mean, ideally you would want your Olaf to probably die to the Crux. It's not gonna happen, it seems like. Maybe it's gonna happen. Nah. he did position in a way where he was hoping that that would be the case, but just wasn't going to be that way. Now, we have a look at the economy of our players on the right side of the screen and also at their level. So currently Salvyyy is on 50 gold with level 6, and Klicornen, who's also on that clear mind, is level 6 with 60 gold. So really seeing the value of these augments come in here.
I'm fascinated to see what happens in the early parts of stage 3. As you can see, Tiaan and Salvyyy, they're both deep on losing streaks right now. They both, Tiaan in particular, really can't afford to lose that, or they're going to be falling behind the curve pretty substantially.
I mean, I'm just happy for Skipaeus that something's going right for him after this last 2 games. Having that Ornn and the Siphon in this early should really, really get him going and secure some win streaking, which for Salvyyy in this case, I mean, not necessarily what he wanted to happen. Probably would have liked a little bit of a nicer loss here compared to what he's going to get. Although 2 of the units will die here, so he's going to get out here with a little bit of a slap on the wrist, but needs to find some board strength sooner than later. He is bleeding quite a lot, 54 HP right now.
All right, we've got our next augments coming in. As you said, Salvyyy, has been trading away their HP for a better setup. We've got halfway through to the Draven's Axe payoff, as we do see Deja turning up in the shop. Salvyyy taking a long moment to consider their options, and it looks like we might have seen some direction finally being established.
Yeah, we are over on Skipaeus' board, who has picked up the Dragon Alliance, and now it's not only the Siphon in the front line that's going to be doing some slicing and dicing. He has picked up a Deja in the background as well, which will add additional damage. And Dragon Alliance, Dragon Horde, very popular augments. Whenever they show up, I feel like players 80% of the time go for it. Just so strong with these dragons.
It's also worth noting that players have gotten better at playing these augments out compared to the style of the set, right? Which means that they are going to be going up in priority, because in theory, when you play these augments, they should help your cap out much higher than a lot of other augments, but when you don't know how to fully play the transitions out, that is not always going to be the case.
One thing Skipaeus is, of course, missing right now is, while they've got the Dragon Alliance, which will give them more defensive stats, in terms of offensive itemization, they are waiting on the beat everyone to death eventually approach. And they've only got the sword on the bench right now to get that Deja up into a fighting machine.
Yeah, the sword itself won't do as much, but we are getting an overview of the augments that our players have picked. And Ixula, after the build different, finding preparation, I feel like is a very good pickup. Tiaan, as you noted earlier, Wida, is also on that preparation. Had a Varus back there the last time we saw him, so I'm curious to see what Tiaan is currently running with that preparation. And then, of course, we already spoke about that Dragon Alliance. There he is, yeah.
But he's all the way down at 0 gold here, only with Varus 2. And he has his board in general is going to be fully upgraded, right? That is going to be a big one, Lulu 2 as well. So you can start stacking that Nomsy sooner rather than later. This chart's going to be big here. It goes on to the Heimerdinger. Heimerdinger survives because another stun off as well. That's going to be buying a lot more time here again, but with no anti-heal, it's going to be a very hard fight for Tiaan to win, while this Deja is just going to be building up stacks in the backline.
I suppose this is one of the kind of non-obvious things about having a small amount of units on the board, as we do have with dragons here. The Varus stun, to affect a small, normally just, a third or a half of the board, is able to affect the entire board of the dragons all at once.
Yeah, and we are going into the carousel here. Tiaan being able to pick up a bow, which should do his comp quite some good. Add that a little bit of attack speed to his AD carries in the backline. And Sappho and Skipaeus will choose last here. Skipaeus, of course, with all those dragons, how should it be any different? Currently, the lobby leader is going to go for the forecast with the Tia.
Yeah, Tia could be Spear Shogun, right? I think that could be you can make an argument for that. Moving on to Texita, who is on the Exiles. Which is okay here. Has the belt on Tristana, which is not ideal at the end of the day here, but we'll probably just get that belt moved at some point because again, you could argue that she's going to be an item holder for a Seek's Herald normally under these circumstances, but with Exiles in play, that is not going to be the case because there's a lot of HP you're going to end up sacrificing.
Yeah, I'm curious to see whether this ends up going longer term. I mean, yeah, we've got a solid front line of bruisers right now. Nomsy, having recently leveled up, has gotten a lot more defensive stats as well to go with their Exile shield. So there's a lot of stall here, but it feels like Nomsy is being called on to provide a good amount of the team's damage. When you compare that to what Crescent's got going, it's looking a little shabby by comparison.
I mean, you really don't want your Corki to be as up for grabs as that was the case for Crescent. They're just in the middle of the board, no defenses, nothing remaining as it was. But yeah, I really want to see Salvyyy down to 17 HP, still holding on to the gold. 50 gold right now, but needs to get somewhere. Has 6 Shimmer Scale currently on the board. Of course, the Volibear, we saw that getting picked up quite early, but it doesn't look too fine right now.
It's a very high pressure situation, that's for sure. For Salvyyy, right, has to make a lot of transition points here come through right now.
Ooh.
And is this going to be enough here against the Clear Mind uplink board from Klicornen?
I'm not sure. The Volibear has just gone AFK in the background as he couldn't find a target. The rest of the front line just rushing to the cuddled up units of Klicornen. Now Volibear with Siphon in fight, trying to get there, but Siphon just seems to be a little bit stronger. It's gonna dash away one more time and then deliver a crucial hit, and that will be end of it. Salvyyy losing so much HP here. 4 remaining as we go to Wolves.
Oh,
Finds
boy.
a Shyvana, doesn't want it.
No, Salvyyy made a pretty big change as of that last round, as it looks like they are building towards a legend variation here. So we've got the Cavaliers in, who'll be able to provide tons of defensive stats when they get eaten by the legends. We just need to actually find an Ornn by the beginning of next round, or all of this has been for nothing.
I'm scared where this is going. I don't even want to say anything because I know chat will be like, oh, Make's cursed it. So I'm going to shut up and I'll see what happens. Away. No, he's on 68 gold. He has like 26 seconds to make something here.
Need one more board right here.
Yeah, that'll be a Volibear 3. Gonna see both of them rolling.
There we go.
Oh, there we go. That's a 3-star. There's no legend yet, but now it is. All right, everything's in place.
Cast QSS as well in the items on the bench, currently speaking, can also
slam those items, Salvyyy, please.
Oh boy!
Getting positioning down here is more important than slamming items right now. Again, QSS is the only one he needs that to have at the start of the fight. Now he has a decision to make. Do you want to make Morello into being able to make Tantrum Solve as well here? This is a bit one decision you have to make here, and I kind of like that he took his time out to navigate this. While he is at 4 HP, he's going to be pretty reliant on finding something like a Soraka to even trying to get him back into HP lead contention. This is still a very, very good spot for him to play from.
All right, it's all paid off. All that tension and lack of cursing. That was an incredible display, Makes. You didn't decide to curse, Salvyyy. I think at this point, they owe you at least part of their victory.
I'm so happy how positive you guys are. Like, he's still on 4 HP. I'm so scared anything's gonna happen. But he does look arguably very strong coming from this position, like you were saying, Guida. I just really hope he can keep the momentum going. Say that again?
Have you seen Salvyyy in real life? Of course he looks strong. Guy's jacked.
Oh.
He is.
Proper hench. These augments don't look fantastic, though. Exiles, of course, we can't use because
Cybernetics?
of legends. I guess it's got to be cybernetics, but that's not even that good anyway.
Makeshift is very interesting, actually, right? Again, because I do believe that they do get the stats from Makeshift.
Oh, that's true. They could have used that.
But Cyber, again, I think it's just like giving the more HP here to the Volibear is going to be the big one, right? I think that's going to be the big kicker here because he's being very active with his positioning here. Does not want to lose to a random thing that would not have beat him on a normal circumstance. He has no room for error. The margin is very low right now.
So just thinking about why he would have maybe prioritized that cybernetics over the makeshift, I would think he just wanted the Ornn and the Anivia to just be a little bit stronger, because while the big Volibear is pretty nice to have and it's doing like the major damage, it's just so good that the Ornn and the Anivia live for a little bit longer and provide some extra strength.
Uh-oh. No! Makes! It was only good for 1 round, Salvyyy! You were the chosen one, and now you're going out in 8th in the lobby that determines if you go forward to day 3.
Oh, come on! He tried his best. Shout out to Salvyyy. He won last Golden Spatula Cup, so he already has his ticket secured. We needn't worry too much about him, but that was devastating.
That was a Volibear 3! He found everything!
I like how we was talking about like how every time we've had the Volibear games the past 2 days, it's been free top 4s for everybody, and then we've seen Volibear on stream 2 games in a row, and it's gone 8th both times. Yeah, great. Gotta love it, right? But now let's look at the overall view of the lobby here, right? We're looking at Xcrescent 26, 33. Like there's a clear divide right now between Tiaan and everyone else right now in the lobby when we go from top to bottom. And that is kind of the line you want to balance on right now. If you're in that top 4, you're looking kind of nice with it for making it to day 3 here. But also this Shyvana's picking up looking kind of nice here, putting in a ton of work.
Oh my gosh, look at that barbecue! I don't think it's good enough though. But I mean, Max, you're saying we are seeing a ton of players deciding this is the way for them to go.
The Dragon Alliance?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's very strong. I mean, we are currently in a set and a patch where it's like, who could find the dragon, right? So finding more dragons is just better. So I think it makes sense that Dragon Alliance and Dragon Horde getting prioritized by players, because it just gives them so much more board strength. Even though it's lesser units, it's just so good.
Petition for mid-set to have a white and red striped dragon called something with a W, so we can make Where's Waldo jokes. 141.
Well, everyone's got different...
You can even call him like Wallumps or something, you know, like give him the Waldo name.
Oh my gosh, the 1%
this is not your screen
chance.
broken, but it is our
overlay is eating the screen. Just so surprised. Thank you for that sound effect, Peter.
A good chance, as I've distracted everybody. Why don't we talk a little bit about our friends, the trees?
The trees. Oh, yeah. Let's talk about the trees. So in the bottom left corner, you see a little animation. It always says, grow my tree. And with exclamation mark TFT Forest, you can actually do something good today. So if you haven't done that yet, you can head on over to the website. You're going to get 10% discount, and you can plant some trees to make our planet, you know, healthier. So if at least you're not making yourself healthier, like I usually am when I like eat or just play until 5 a.m., then at least do that for planet Earth.
Oh, the snipe from the Shyvana there at the end of the day there, right? Like the Lotus sniping off that Saya. You can see the reaction from Ixula. That's going to be a big one here as well, because it's so close. It's this direct fight right now for 7th as well, right? With Xcrescent there now putting an entire life between him and Ixula. That is so big here, right? And again, we're looking at this and being like, build different. You know, it's been about Saya being the primary carry. Sometimes it's double Corki. Right now with the items here, it is going to be a Saya build, but with Saya still not really being as strong as she should be, / she used to be, for this to be the primary vehicle of damage in this competition. The delivery is going to be a little bit delayed, even with the nerf, and you know the food's getting cold, and well, Ixula right now might be going 7th.
I mean, don't call it before it happens, right? Don't count your chickens before they hatch. We know we will see a matchup between Klicornen and Ixula here, and the build different will try to do the best it can. Right now, the Xayah's in the background, just delivering so much damage going out. The Siphon's still alive, but getting targeted by that Xayah will turn around and eat something else. She ults one more time, and now it's 5 targets against that Siphon. Will that be enough? And it is. Ixula holding on for another round. Xcrescent, however, losing quite some HP, going down to 13 as we enter the Treasure Drake.
We've got 3 players in desperate need of a turnaround. Ixula, Xcrescent, and Klicornen both down to sub 20 HP. Everybody else riding high, including the player who we wanted to see get the chance to show off, Skipaeus at the top of the heap, this time not fighting back from out of the corner.
Yeah, Skipaeus is just, you know, he found that Dragon Alliance middle of the game, and from that on, he just sat pretty and watched. Like, if this was Brubba, he would have gotten a piece of pizza at this point.
I mean, he also has the Soraka he's found out earlier here, right, as well. He has the Seeks going on to the Dacia. I mean, the Dacia is going to continue to stack that AP over and over and over again. Like, this setup is quite good. Itemization-wise, he's still like he's not really full items besides on the Siphon, obviously, right? Siphon 1 here is the case right now. But again, you have two decent items on the Dacia. You have the Soraka coming down with the massive healing aspect as well. There are so many things right now you're looking at. You're looking pretty. You're 82 HP. That is most likely only really going to go up, or at least be offset. So he's still just chilling for now. Can wait to roll for the Dragon, split some economy up, look at what he's going to be doing post the carousel.
Also, Ascension coming in with all those beefy, chunky boys who are just going to survive forever because they have a Soraka at the back line. Like, this is pretty much Exodia.
Well, that's another small point to bring up here, that we've got Soraka spreading her healing around a lot smaller amount of units than she'd normally be doing it to, because she still delivers the same amount of healing, irrespective of how many people left on the board, but it's much more focused and therefore much more meaningful when you've just got a few dragon friends to heal.
Yeah, Crescent is out here, so that is going to be a big loss for him, right? Even though we talked about how he put an entire life between him and Ixula, well, Ixula has just continued winning ever since that specific fight, so he is still in it to win it right now. Klicornen, we're talking about how his position was pretty good in the early stages of the game with that Clear Mind. Well, Clear Mind is not a combat augment, so when you're going up against players that have more board power from their augment, you're probably going to end up with the bad end of the stick. This is a big one here now, 9 HP Sappho, but we haven't really talked about throughout the entirety of the game, right? Looking pretty with that, with the 2-star Itis, very good frontline items. Klicornen has upgraded a few of the pieces around this Siphon, but it's a one singular Siphon. It might not be enough to make it through.
Let's see who they're up against here. So we've got our El Clasico. Sappho is going to be bringing out the comp we've seen every single variation of so far today. We've, of course, got that Draven's Axe we saw being used before by poor old Salvyyy, now being put into the hands of the Corki. And as you can see, Corki is using it exceptionally well. And perhaps it just doesn't matter how many dragons you throw at them if they're going to end up being CC'd all day long and then torn to pieces by all that Corki damage.
Ixula is still managing to win. I am so impressed with this build different board. Like, now on 13 HP, making his way up from what was basically a 7th place and out. Oh. He's now managing to get up there. Preparation really helping him together with those cybers, and now has some upgrade options, but can't really go for them unless he decides to sell off the Soraka here. And actually, he's going to sell off the Corki and put the Soraka in.
Well, that's the upgraded Zaya. Of course, that's what Widow was calling for before. When your damage is really coming from one unit, getting that 2-star upgrade is so freaking important. Up against a pile of dragons, we'll see if Ixula can hold on. They're still very, very close to elimination.
This is a very good Shroud here as well, right? Getting at the end of the fight, the Ghost board is so important in a situation like this when you are having your back against the wall. It's a guaranteed HP gain from the Soraka as well. You can start working your way into a potential 2-life scenario again. That is also something you need to look up here. Tiaan right now, he's working his magic to a certain extent, right? This Nomsy board he's been facing here is doing a lot of work. Now there's the last cast from the Soraka.
Oh, that was so close. If Texita Sona would have ulted one more time, I'm not sure if he still would have won there. But he manages to get by. Right now, the top of the lobby looking pretty close, 42, 42, 50. And then Skipaeus, of course, leading the pack by a little bit of an HP cushion as we go into this carousel.
Ixula is our big confounding variable here, that we just don't know quite how far they can take their current built different setup. It seems very good right now, but I do wonder if there is a hard cap on how strong it can be.
The thing that's worth noting here about this as well is now this death cap will most likely go onto the Soraka here, case in point for the stronger heals. Soraka and Bard don't really need the they build different values to be good units. Quite simply, they are just going to be straight up upgrades to your board. They aren't carries, so you just need to get like one cast off and they're fine. However, you know, like getting the extra healing, get the damage amplification, the CC that those units apply instead is just much more important here. And now it's time for the real fight against this board, where there's now also Mirage Emblem in play here for Skipaeus, sorry, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, I read something in chat which was hilarious. Like, why do people keep buying Xion? But she's pretty good for a build diff board. I feel like maybe at some point you want to switch her out with something else. But for now, she is delivering the dam against that Deja. Can she pull back? She cannot. Ixula losing some HP here after what has been a fun ride from bottom to middle of the pack in this lobby.
Look at this as well. Safo is just big chilling right now. There's no reason for him to hold this much gold. There's no like amplification, right? Outside of going to above 80 is where the max 80 breakpoint for Draven's Axe. So just putting everything that is excess above 80 into that. Again, look at this as well. Has probably got a spat from Draven's Axe at some point now. Has a Tactician's Crown as well to work with. Did just lose the fight that he was in. So that was a thing that was worth pointing out here as well to a certain extent.
All right, we'll see how it does here against the Varus reroll. The two AD carries going to be facing down each other. They'll avoid actually directly shooting at each other face to face for quite some time. We have got the stun, of course. Varus and Corki both eschewing defensive items to pour out the pure amount of damage. So you switch around to check on Ixula because this could be their end. There's the dragon. There's a lot of hits coming in, and makes you call it the ride is over.
I mean, you can only take it so far. It was gold augment build diff, and I think Ixula had a pretty good run, judging by where this board was at the beginning and middle stages of the game. But now we're at my favorite PvE round, the Treasure Goblin coming in, and there's an IE for Tiaan in the cards.
Yeah, the IE here doesn't do anything, right? Like, that's the thing that's worth noting here. Like, the IE, there's no real... I mean, your Twitch is going to be doing a little bit more damage, and there's nothing else. I think you would very much like to see a Reforger drop as well. That's not going to happen, sadly.
So is that the Nomsy upgrade? Wait, he's gonna get fed one more time.
Yes.
Big chunk.
Mix, I just want to check before we go any further. The Treasure Goblin, is that your thing, or is that something you've picked up from somewhere else?
It's the Blue Sentinel from League of Legends. So
no, I mean I know what the unit is.
He means the name, so I've been calling it that, and I'm trying to spread it and make it a thing. So
I think it should be a thing.
I agree. They should just call it that. Treasure Dragon, Treasure Goblin. It makes sense.
I think
Sappho being able to hit some upgrades though. Finds the Corki 2. Two copies off the Corki 3. One copy off the Corki 3. Finds it. Was that Nico's? Must have been, right?
Yeah, I was looking on the bench. He was just holding that for a while now. There's going to be Skippy here, who has gone level 9 as well here with his Dragon Alliance board that has to be the one to deal with this here. Now we can see the chunk coming through. His He can take half the HP now as the Corki is starting his onslaught.
Yeah, it's not enough damage to put him down, especially with the Hand of Justice to provide the healing. I do think the Dragons have got a big blind spot here in the ability to deal with the backline. You know, normally Siphon will be the one to do it, but it's being built tank instead of damage, and that means Skipaeus. It's not even close.
Tiaan full streaking as well as worth noting here, building a streak up now with Skipaeus now starting to close out. And again, this is the power of the Varus reroll. We have seen very little of it. We haven't seen it from Tiaan's perspective for more than like 1 or 2 PvE rounds, pretty much to a certain extent, right? And now with Sappho being with Sappho now being on that Corki free, it just means that like every single win that you get right now is going to be super, super important. Because there's just a lot of things going on screen right now. This lobby is about to take off completely.
I mean, I think it has Loki already taken off the Silent Shroud coming in here, hitting that Soraka, hitting that Yasuo, and the Corki will do so much for him. But the Sona on the right side of the board is casting off. She hit the Varus one time. Will she do it another time? She's going to take off some of that health every time she does. The Idas in the front line just doing so much tanking and a lot of cannons and rockets flying around as Corki 3 just scales up on that Rage Blade. There is no tomorrow as as Sappho wins against Tiaan here.
Well, that is only a
Sappho
3-unit
is-
loss, right? And this loss also came down to the fact that he positioned into the threat that he missed, which is a bit of an annoying one, right? Also, look at this triple Bramble Vest as well.
All right, Texita.
Over on Texita's board. Rolling,
ones
trying to find any upgrade here.
Definitely the one who's in the most peril right now. You can see they're rolling with that in mind. They've got themselves a very good Mystic setup to be able to shrug off magic damage, but AD is a whole other beast.
Yeah, it's Sappho. This is the big one as well.
Oh, the Zona getting Thresher will not allow her to cast right away. Get her a little bit immobilized, but look at what's happening in the top left corner of the game. There's a Siphon on that Corki dashing away. The Corki did get the debuff from the Whispers for a second, but now ramping back up, and that will be the end of it. I don't think that Siphon can do anything else here. Will ult one more time, doesn't even come to that. The Corki just reigning supreme. Bumping out Texita's health down to 1 HP, and Tiaan also taking a loss, now down to 9.
As Sappho continues to go from strength to strength, I think they're very much on course here to take the lobby. Again, remember, we're not in our top lobby anymore. We are in the elimination lobby. You do well here, you're almost guaranteed to go through to day 3. You do poorly, like our bottom 4 here, your chances of making day 3 are almost nothing.
And I also think it's worth noting, right, I think there's going to be a distinction between top 4, top 3 as well, in terms of like being able to make it out. We haven't done the math right, that's why we have a lovely admin team. But these fights are so close, and look at Texita here is currently at just a single HP. Tiaan also at 9 here, and I think that do they have each other in the pool? They don't, right? I don't think you can see it right now because of the overlay that is very lovely as well. Has a Zephyr as well from a TG. This could be very big for Tiaan here, as he is going to be going against Texita here in this final fight. For
Let's see. That Zephyr is probably going to land on the Nomsy. Yeah, it will land on the Nomsy. But more importantly, that Zona got Silent Shrouded, which will allow Tiaan's team to ramp up a little bit faster before taking a bunch of damage. Maybe it will be enough to take out that big ol' Siphon that's in the middle of the board. There it goes down. Now on to the enemy backline. The Varus keeps on shooting, takes out the Zona, and that should be it. Tiaan secures a win against Texita.
Secures top 3 as well here. We're now looking at a very good prospect potentially making it into day 3.
Sappho still keeping on that winning streak. I think Tiaan thanking their lucky stars they were able to get this far. As you said, we've still got the whole tiebreaker situation. We don't know absolutely for sure, but the higher you can finish, the more you can breathe, as the tiebreakers will be calculated once this game is done.
So there's Sappho already getting cheered on by our chat. I can see it. Will he take out Tiaan? So let's have a look. Tiaan, of course, with the Varus reroll top 3, definitely an achievement. There is a Silent Shroud going off onto the Corki 3 and the Soraka. Big gold coming in for Tiaan, who picks it up. For Sappho, who picks it up, of course, ramping up that Draven's Axe just a little bit more here, doing him so good. Zona ult coming in, a bunch of damage on the enemy backline. Will it be enough to take out that Bard before it ults one more time? It is
1, 2,
not.
3?
But the Zona, can she do it? No, she can't. Sappho taking a loss.
I don't know why this
Wow.
showed 1, 2, 3. I think I was just counting the auto attacks it would take now with that Corki being CC'd, right? And now it's going to be a Locket, just a little bit extra backline support here for that Corki. This is a very, very strong part. We are going to be approaching stage 7 with 3 players alive. This means that it's just a bad fight for Sappho. He might as well be gone even at 25 HP.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Tiaan winning their round off screen as well means they become still an ongoing concern. I think having this Spark is a really good pickup here for Sappho. Hopefully we'll get a chance to take a glance around and see what else is coming up from our goblin friends. Though, remember, is this one a goblin or is this one a crab?
This one is the crab. That's a treasure crab.
There's so much to remember.
Yeah, you'll get there. Yasuo too, big pickup for Sappho. Of course, now trying to get back that econ, like we said, that Draven's Axe. Hopefully doing the most here is remaking. What did he sell for that?
I forgot.
I'm not even sure.
Soraka, I do believe.
The Soraka, yeah, exactly. That was a Soraka. So now Rageblade Bard coming in here. Of course, the Trap Claw giving a little bit of extra protection as he faces Skipaeus with his dragons. The Trash doing a little bit of extra work, gripping that Aoshin in the backline. But the Xiaoyu is onto the Corki. Can he survive? He can't. The Xiaoyu making short process with everything in her path. Sona is still fighting, still trying to make anything happen here. Yasuo and Idas are alive, trying to get anywhere, but this is it.
Oh no!
Chaos knocks out Sappho.
Oh, so you call it down to the wire there by -1 HP. Sappho is gone. Tiaan winning their round off of screen. What a huge relief for them that's got to be.
Interesting to see whether or not we're going to see Skipaeus take out this Bard to move in this Zoe instead. Now with the Zoe picking up the Janna Tornadoes, because that actually could be a pretty good one to work with here. The Bard, it does give extra mana on hit, which is very important for something like this Aoshin to really have a massive impact in this fight.
I mean, I don't even know. How are you going to go up against the board that Skipaeus has built? There is a Shroud hitting all of those dragons, coming in really clutch from Tiaan. Tiaan with Varus reroll, second place currently. The Varus getting knocked around quite a little bit, but is now ramping up as the Aoshin ult comes in. Keeps the Varus alive though, one time. Soraka healing, getting that Aoshin to cast another time, and that will be the end of it. That Aoshin will finish off Tiaan, and we have a winner. Skipaeus taking first place in the last lobby of this game.
Oh my gosh, the lightning coming down there at the